Cara from Toxic Escape, I hope you're all doing well. I want to do a video on relating to other people, and I'm always fascinated by watching different people, whether it's couples or families or even in the workplace, how people engage with each other, the type of communication that they use, and how they just relate to each other in general. And there's a field of study in psychotherapy called transaction analysis, and it's a fantastic theory, and it's not really that popular, but the foundation of it is this: your brain absorbs everything all the way through your life from start to finish. It absorbs memories, experiences, situations, good or bad. It remembers it all. Now, you may not actively remember it, they could be all unconsciously held in the brain. And all these experiences and our relationships with other people, they form our ego, which is essentially our personality. But even though we have one ego, that ego could transition between three different states. There could be a child state, could be an adult state, or a parental state. Now, I'm in an adult state now. I'm sitting here, I'm doing this video, I'm focused, I'm calm, and that's the ideal. But there could be situations in life where a child state triggers in me. And what that basically means, it could be an event, it could be someone looking at me, it could be a bang, it could be something happening anywhere. It could trigger a memory, an experience, which might trigger a feeling inside me. And it brings me back to a time when I may have felt that feeling before. And that's why you'll often hear people refer to their inner child, that they're genuinely referring to memories and feelings from their own childhood. It's not necessarily a negative. That child state could also relate to having fun and having a good time and being playful and being silly, and these are all positive things. But if you've had a negative childhood experience and that state is triggered, it may trigger negative feelings inside you now, feelings which aren't relevant. And I come across a lot of people who are very fearful now as adults, but they've no reason to be fearful. It's completely irrational. Now, there could be other such times when we might trigger a parental state inside you, and that could be when maybe you're trying to show somebody something and you become impatient with them in the same way that your parents may have been impatient with you. And again, these are memories which are stored, and it gets triggered completely unconsciously. We don't choose this, it just happens. It could also be an internalized situation. Let's say you make a mistake and you had a parent who was overly critical on you. You may find that you start treating yourself or viewing yourself in the same way they viewed you. Now, in those cases, they could have been just projecting their own anger and their own frustration with themselves. Because you're small and you're a child, you absorb all these experiences and they become part of your psychological makeup. And then I see in the workplace, I look at different places, people having meetings, and I often see people getting very frustrated, and it's disproportionate to what's happening now. And I'm often curious about what state they're in now. Are they in an adult place, or is this environment and this situation triggering feelings inside themselves which just aren't relevant now? So the challenge is to be able to be aware of what state you're in now and ask yourself, do I need to feel this way? Again, it's very common in couple relationships. I see them all brushing off each other. Someone might unconsciously go to a parental state if their partner is making a mistake, and that could trigger a child state in their partner with anger and shouting back, and it comes just kidding off each other. And it's been able to park that and find balance in the middle and stay adult and engage with each other and communicate with each other like adults. It's very difficult, but again, that's a big part of what I do with my clients. I try and find where their baseline is from an adult state. Where are they? And then what would happen if they got to parental state? How is that parental state impacting their relationships with others and with themselves? But also look at how their child state is impacting their relationship with others or with themselves, and then we try and find ways of resolving it, letting go of these memories, these experiences which are bleeding into now, so we can let go of them and they can start to be much more present, more relaxed, and a lot less fearful. But it takes a huge amount of work and a lot of reflection. And that's the challenge. And anyone that's watching this, that's the challenge for you. Is at any point ask yourself, where am I now? The way I feel now, is that relative and proportionate to what's happening now? And if it's not, am I in a child place? Am I in an adult place? Am I in a parental place? And what do you choose to be in? I mean, you have an element of choice in terms of how you react. And ask yourself, what would my adult self do right now? It's difficult. It's very hard to raise that awareness, but it's very fulfilling. And you may find that you start making alternative choices in how you communicate with people and how you go about asking for your own needs. Because it's important that we ask other people, I need this, I need your help with this. But it shouldn't be in a manipulative way. There shouldn't necessarily be an agenda. There should be in an adult way. It should be direct, non-passive aggressive communication, direct the correct communication, honest and upfront. And I find people relate to that much more better. They're much more open to that type of communication, and they're much more accepting, and they will help you more, quicker than if you were to be in a child place where you're demanding something, or if you're kind of asking in a very roundabout way because you're afraid. So that's it. So just, at any point in your life, ask yourself, what state are you now, and what state would you like to be? That's it. Okay, guys, thanks a million. Take care. Talk to you soon.